And here's the thing. I hate to cut you off here, but and here's the thing is let's just say that the second shot heard around the world happens. Okay, let's just say it happens, and I know there's a lot of people out there that are begging and praying and hoping that it happens. Okay, now me, myself, and Irene. I really don't want that to happen.
No.
Now, why? Because if you've watched the movie The Patriot with Mel Gibson, there's one line, one scene that that Mel Gibson says that if this war happens, that our children will learn of it in their backyards. And obviously I'm paraphrasing it. I don't know the exact lines. I don't watch the movie that much.
You're close enough.
Yeah, I'm close enough. But they'll learn from it from their own backyards. So is that something we really want our children to learn or grow up with? And
no.
Okay.
No, and the reason why, and this is what people don't understand, and this is what drives me completely insane, with those that haven't been in the military and those that haven't been in a war zone before and experienced that kind of loss. You don't know the true psychological effect that it will have on not only yourself, but if it comes to our backyard, which it will eventually, what it's going to have on your children. I mean, it's a very life-altering event, and it messes with your mind. It really does, to see that much destruction and death.
Oh, yeah, it does. It definitely does. And, honestly, if, and this is, I underline if, this second revolution happens, we're not going to see the same kind of revolutionary war that we've seen before. We're going to see guerrilla warfare at its worst. We're going to see urban warfare at its worst. And here's the thing, is that last I checked, 85% of active military personnel has stated that they would not fire on American citizens. They would actually join the cause rather than, follow orders. Basically, that's an immoral order and they're not going to follow it, this and that. Now, take that 85% and factor in all the Operation Desert Storm veterans. Okay, all the Panama Canal veterans, all the Korean veterans, because I know they're still out there, all the Vietnam War veterans. Okay, and I'm sure there's a couple World War II veterans out there too. But you take all that into account. And honestly, when I think of everything, of all that, I am reminded of the Japanese admiral Yamamoto, who advised the Japanese emperor during World War II, stating that if you invade the mainland of the United States, that you will find a rifle behind every blade of grass. And I still believe that is true. Because even now, with the whole gun control and this and that, there might be, divided loyalties on, whether you have a gun or not have a gun or whatever. But if push comes to shove, I have to believe that even the most diehard liberals would pick up a gun to defend the country. I have to
Yeah.
believe that.
No, you're absolutely right, because think about what human instinct is and we have to look at the whole scenario. I mean, as you well know, when shit hits the fan, and I'm just going to use an example here, and it's a small example. Look what's happening on the East Coast right now. Mm-hmm. We had, or they're soon to have an epic blizzard, and what happened right before that with the news coming out? A lot of the store shelves were emptied out in no time, which means everything's going to come to a standstill. People aren't going to be able to go out and get food and water. It's going to come to one of those things where, it comes down to survival, and then that's where your instincts kick in. And you're absolutely right. When there's mass chaos going on around, and you being, if you're a liberal and you have a wife and children there, your only instinct is to protect them.
Right.
And you're going to do that by any means necessary. So if you see a gun laying on the ground with ammo around, guess what you're going to do?
Pick it up and start
I don't care
firing.
If they say they wouldn't. Yeah, exactly, because they would. Mm-hmm. Because that's a natural human instinct.
Well, and even in that case, talking about the East Coast, I'm surprised they're, rushing to the store shelves to stock up or whatever. I don't know how bad of a blizzard they're planning on having. But, me being here in Minnesota, I've dealt with my fair share of blizzards. So, I kind of have to wonder, like, okay, how bad of a blizzard are they going to have? I mean, you want water? Take a freaking pot pan that you have in your kitchen, scoop up a cup, some snow, melt it. There you go. You have water.
Yeah, well, these people hang on every word.
It doesn't have to be Fiji water, people.
Right, but you got to understand, a lot of these people hang on every word that the media tells them.
Yeah,
so
I know.
The media tells them that this is going to be the worst storm in centuries, which it's only going to drop 2 feet of snow. Me, originally being from Michigan, 2 feet of snow, please. Come on, we had up in Marquette right before Christmas in 1996. It was 1996. We actually had, because I lived probably about 150 miles from there, below the bridge. Mm-hmm. But they ended up getting 6 foot of snow overnight. So please, 2 foot, give me a break.
I know.
These mindless little drones that watch this are like, oh my God, I got to go prepare now. And they'll go and clean out a whole store.
See, and here's the thing. I'm old enough to remember here in Minnesota, we had the Halloween blizzard of 91, which dumped 4 feet of snow on the entire state of Minnesota. I mean, even Governor Arne Carlson at the time canceled school for 3 days in a row. It was the first time in state history that ever happened. Okay, they even postponed Halloween trick-or-treating. Okay, and I was like, hey, it's Halloween, I'm going out trick-or-treating. And I got boatloads of candy that day. But anyways, or I should say that night. But, and that's the thing. It's like, okay, yeah, we're in 2 feet of snow. What to do? I mean, here in Minnesota, we just had 2 feet of snow dump on us. Okay, yeah, I mean, you're not going to be going anywhere that day. Give it about 8 hours or so, and the plows will have the roads ready for you to travel on. So,
yeah, exactly.
It's not exactly a life or death situation here.
Hey, it's not like they're stuck down here in a place like I am, which you really don't see snow down in this area. But if they do, if we were to get at least 2 to 3 inches on the ground, and it, along with the rain beforehand, and it freezes solid, yeah, we're pretty much screwed until it melts completely. Yeah. But other than that,
and that's because you guys don't have the snow plows or anything like that. Yeah, exactly. So let's go to step number 4 of our 10 steps here. surveying ordinary citizens. Now, even Hitler had his own little personal file cabinet of people that he wanted to keep tabs on at the time. But let's look at today. We have the NSA. Have we forgotten about the NSA phone taps and all that? The NSA Echo on your phone.
Yep.
And and who brought this all to us? Who brought this information to us about the NSA? Edward Snowden.
Yep.
And I know a lot of Americans out there, say that Edward Snowden was a traitor and this and that, but honestly, he really isn't. He did not give any secrets to quote unquote the enemy or Russia in this case. He just released the information to the American people. As John F. Kennedy stated, in a speech to the media that I just had it. That if you there we go. That a well-informed public can adequately run the country. As I'm paraphrasing, obviously, but as long as they're well informed, that's the key word. As long as they're well informed. And can you say right now in this day and age that we are as the American public well informed? I can't. How about you, Jason?
Yeah, I mean, me personally, I can, because there's so much information out there in between YouTube and
Facebook.
I'm not even going to say Wikipedia. Don't just strike that from the record. But
well, no, I wasn't going to say Wikipedia. I was going to say Facebook.
Yeah, well, Facebook, but you can also go to Google. Usually, a lot of the top stories that are out there, a lot of them have had to do with the surveillance state, and I think even Time Magazine even covered that before, or maybe it was a police state they were covering.
Well, and see, here's the thing: is especially like Facebook, because I scroll through my timeline and everything, and I see this story, that story, whatever, people sharing it, whatever. And one story that came to mind and says, Hillary Clinton, drops out of the presidential race. Well, you click on the link and it's a 2012 article. Honestly, if you're gonna post an article or share an article, for the love of God, actually read the article or at least look at the date of it. That's all I got to say about that. I mean, come on. That Hillary Clinton dropped out of the race? I mean, that was back in 2012. And you're posting an article, because the headline said that, Hillary Clinton dropped out of the 2016, presidential race? I mean, come on. Mm-hmm. Read the freaking article, people. Are you that freaking stupid? You can't read an article or, find out, the dateline or whether it's satire or not. Because most of the time, most news articles out there will say whether it's satire or not. Would you agree, Jason?
Oh, yeah. I would definitely agree. Well, and one thing I've noticed, too, because I'll get the same kind of articles on my site. And I don't know if they're purposely put up there for that reason, but there's a lot of satire articles that grace my homepage on Facebook, and there's also articles that people will be like, "Oh my God, did you know this?" Like they had one about Ron Paul winning the Iowa caucuses. I mean, please, come on.
The Iowa caucus hasn't even happened yet.
Well, exactly. It was an old story, but they were making it seem like it was a brand new thing. And unless you actually opened it to
Ah,
read it, I mean,
jeez.
you wouldn't know.